here in the Times of India, the front page says, after 4 months, Rahul returns as Member of Parliament a day ahead of no trust debate, set to be I.N.D.I.A Bloc's opening speaker today. So all eyes on the Parliament today. I'm 100% sure, Varghese. It also says BJP's Katheria gets relief on a 2 years jail order, which is also an interesting case, which we will speak about in a little while. It says 4 months after he was disqualified, Rahul Gandhi returned to the Parliament to a hero's welcome. And we all saw those visuals, you know, the cacophony and the amount of people who were there, from politicians, you know, lining up on the verandas to see, you know, Rahul Gandhi wapas aa gaye bhai, and the media personnel as well, from photographs. I mean, it was straight out of an Oscar, you know, red carpet. For the man. I mean, that's actually, you know, the vibe that came out was exactly that. It was a hero's welcome from his party men, with his membership of the lower house restored following the Supreme Court staying his conviction in a defamation case. The former Congress chief is now set to be the I.N.D.I.A Bloc's opening speaker during the debate on the no confidence motion scheduled to begin today, followed by party colleagues Gaurav Gogoi and Manish Tiwari. Announcing the reinstatement of Rahul as an MP, Lok Sabha notification said, in view of the SC order on Friday, the disqualification has ceased to operate, subject to further judicial pronouncements. Now, it was important to note how quickly he will be reinstated, because with the swiftness that he was removed from the Parliament, he has been reinstated with that kind of swiftness. I mean, more or less.
We were asking that question, whether you know, that swiftness will be same when it came to suspension. And I think the BJP has been wise enough to ensure that they did not delay it fast, because they didn't want to give that martyr tag when it comes to Rahul Gandhi, who has also been playing on that aspect as well. See, he's been reinstated after almost 134 days. So, right. 134 days he's been out of action when it comes to the Parliament. And remember, he actually knew how to use it as well. There was a huge rally in Wayanad. The first thing is that he went to Wayanad, he visited Wayanad. There was a huge rally that was taken off, and then you had surprisingly, you had the allies and yet to become allies at that time, before this I.N.D.I.A Bloc was formed, all of them actually supporting him. And now, interestingly enough, we were talking about AAP and Congress, and you had AAP leaders coming out in support of Rahul Gandhi over his suspension as well. So, interestingly enough, the suspension did work to catalyze the opposition to a large extent, and Rahul Gandhi has effectively used that also when it comes to optics and politicking as well. So, now the big question, as you rightly pointed out, what is going to be the debate that he's going to start when it comes to the no confidence motion that has been moved?
And BJP is going to open up. The BJP is trying to play it down.
Yesterday onwards, you know, BJP has been trying to play it down with two aspects of it. One is that they said that they wanted to bring the debate about the death of the minor, the rape and murder of a minor in Rajasthan. Remember the coal in the coal furnace?
The brick kiln.
Yeah, so they were talking brick kiln. Yes, yes. So that murder case they want to in fact discuss in Parliament. But at the same time,
BJP leaders also made it a point to visit that particular brick kiln.
They visited the place. They met the family members. So the BJP wants to discuss this. Now the issue over here that has been raised, K.C. Venugopal also raised, is saying that Manipur is burning for almost 3 months. Why aren't we having a single debate on it? And the BJP is saying that we are ready to have a debate.
But also saying that Rahul is not acquitted in this case. Let's not forget. This is only a stay on the conviction.
There is, interestingly enough,
and that history, you know, a repeat offender tag that the BJP has given to Rahul Gandhi, they're basically essentially sticking onto that.
Yesterday, on this debate, I mean, on this issue as well, I was in fact asking one of our guests, you know, there were some learned political analysts who were there. You know, there was a time when such things never became court cases. I mean, there was politicians used to take jibe at each other. They used to, in fact, make a lot of statements. But none of it was dragged to the court, where the court had to say that, you know, it might be a crass statement, it might be this. I mean, the court was sitting. And the irony about this entire case is that people who are third party to the case are the ones who are filing the case. There was one case that is coming up in Bombay High Court, especially on calling a name with regard to the Prime Minister. That is also coming up for hearing, and it is being said that it's been extended, his relief has been extended in that case. So that case is also still going, and the BJP has been trying to push those repeat offender tags. But the fact remains that name calling and even crass statements have been put forward by most of the politicians, but never landed in court as defamation, and that too do when third party people who are not being technically affected by those statements are the ones who are actually taking up that statements in court. That is something that we need to be had to have some kind of a concern about, because then it looks like in Indian politics there is no space for anyone to make any kind of statement as such. But these jibes were in fact there. I mean, the 1980s and 90s as well as early 2000s. These jibes
people
kept
have also
going on.
been saying, people have also been talking about that image makeover of Rahul Gandhi from Pappu to the kind of reception that he got yesterday in the parliament. People are putting out editorials. There are comparisons of what he was like 10 years back and what he is like today. But these 130 days that you're talking about,
134 odd
these
days,
4 months that he ceased to exist as a member of parliament, how do you think he used his time like? There are several videos that have now come out. He's visiting Azadpur.
As a politician,
him going to
one thing you
Manipur.
should understand is that when you make an adversity into an opportunity, it is going to be an opportunity. But the BJP is wise enough that he was using that adversity into an opportunity, and they said it's high time they in fact cut short on that victim tag that he had been playing on. So politically, the BJP was wise enough to ensure that his reinstatement also was carried out, not giving a room for debate on that matter at all. Because again, that would have been said, the court has stayed and yet, things have not moved forward. But during that 134 days, Kabir, I think you have also been following videos that have been coming on social media about how he interacted with a section of people. Who are these section of people? We are looking at them interacting with rural women, with laborers at the mandi. We are looking at mechanics. These are a base of the Congress. Rather, the Congress has he's used that time probably, and probably he's been using a lot of his time to reconnect, especially when Bharat Jodo, from Bharat Jodo, it's been a kind of
They're saying another leg of Bharat Jodo is also
it's kind of
on the cards.
But parallel, yeah, that could it's on the cards.
From an east to west, like
there's a
dissecting the
possibility
country
that,
now
yes,
from
exactly. You had
the
one from
horizontal lines.
from Tamil Nadu all the way to Kashmir, and then from east to west is also something that they have been looking at. And remember, Manipur, he's the first politicians to go to Manipur. That is what the Congress has claimed. Adhir Ranjan Chaudhary said. And in Manipur, he had gone much ahead of, a lot of other teams had visited the place. So he had gone there and assessed the ground situation at the same time. Though the center has been actively there, the Home Minister had been there.
I'm just going to ask you this. All throughout the monsoon session of the parliament, what are you expecting is going to take place
I would
today?
say the monsoon session of the parliament, if
how do you think the BJP is going to counter the
see, it has come at a time. See, politically, if you look at how it is worked out, if you look at the monsoon session of the parliament, if it was a normal session, both of us would have been discussing about the data protection bill and the the provisions in it. That anyway, the data protection bill was passed by voice vote yesterday, and then
and nobody's
the Delhi
talking about it as
services
well.
bill. We would have been talking about this, and probably what Manipur would have been. But the entire monsoon session has been stormed by a side story, and that has become the main story. That is the return of Rahul Gandhi to the parliament. And now everything is going to revolve around from Rahul Gandhi's narrative, saying that Rahul Gandhi, will he take up on Manipur when they ended with no confidence motion? Again, we are talking about
in terms of the story optics, in terms of perspectives. I mean, Indians love a good comeback story now, don't we?
Yes, see, that is the thing about it. This country, we should understand is that it, if especially look at the electorate is very smart, but at the same time very sentimental and emotional as well. This is the same country that punished Indira Gandhi, who gave, the 1971 victory was riding high, and who also gave the emergency. They punished her. And there was a time when people said that it is highly impossible that you can unseat Indira Gandhi. They punished her, but they also brought her back. All right, they also brought her back. So this is that country. So you cannot take the Indian people for granted. They have an emotional bond. They have certain things already set in their minds. We can talk about polarization. How much of polarization will go to an extent is something that we need to also understand. But then over here, the entire narrative has been now from the monsoon session narratives has moved away from all these important, even the Delhi services bill. Yesterday, there was brilliant arguments that were made by Home Minister Amit Shah, and there were also counter arguments that was made. In
Rahul
fact,
Gandhi,
we should have been discussing that, but then the issue is again, it's from Rahul Gandhi's perspective we're discussing.
All right, sir. Let's talk about the Delhi services bill.
Oh, you're going to Delhi services bill.
Rahul Gandhi ki Lok Sabha Sadasyata bahal.